So hello everyone, welcome, and very excited today to have a fantastic guest with us, which is Edith Wittmann from Microsoft. And Edith, welcome. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we're on the eve of Microsoft Ignite, the huge Microsoft event, which we're excited to be at. And but why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about your journey at Microsoft and your role and what you're doing now?
Happy to do so. And actually, it's super interesting because last year at Ignite, we have been already together, not in that setup, obviously, but TeamViewer already has been a great sponsor and a great participant from an Ignite perspective. And I'm super happy that we just continue our journey in that sense, actually. And coming to me, that's actually one piece of my history working with Microsoft and at Microsoft for about 11 years now, because I was running the partner ecosystem for Microsoft in Germany over the past years, actually, and very closely engaged with TeamViewer as part of our partner ecosystem and a super important partner to Microsoft and with Microsoft over the past years. And in the meantime, since February, I'm running the enterprise commercial business for Microsoft in Germany, being part of the board. And at the same time, when I say running the enterprise commercial business, it is all about our customers. It is all about our entire product portfolio and solutions we have, and just working together with you as a partner, with our customers being successful and making use of the technology opportunity, the platform opportunity we have, and making it successful, working together with our customer.
Great. Well, as a partnership, we're thrilled about, and it's a very important partnership for us here at TeamViewer, and it was with 1E as well. And so, thrilled to spend time here. So, I was particularly excited to talk to you today because when I think about digital workplace, and we talk on this show here a lot about the different trends and how it's evolving. But when I think about the history of where we got to today, I mean, Microsoft arguably has played more role than any company on the planet in terms of shaping and developing the digital workplace. So when you think about the digital workplace and how you define it and how it's evolved over time, how do you look at it?
That's super interesting because it evolved a lot, like you were expressing already over time, actually. When you look at it, starting with a PC setup and then how Office actually developed over decades, the last decades, actually, it is super interesting, not only from a digital point of view, but how it evolved in terms of technology as a foundation, obviously, at the same time, including and incorporating processes from a company perspective, as well as the applications, which comes to some extent with it when it comes to processes, and how this all fits together and how this becomes, from an employee experience perspective, the one entry point that this has to be a combination, this has to be seamless. That is how I see how the digital workplace actually evolved over the past years, and as I said, decades even. And what is then most important as well, to have an integrational perspective on it, and that processes play a crucial role, as well as the apps play a crucial role from an employee perspective, how it works best and how the employee from a day-to-day work perspective is served best from a digital workplace perspective.
And, when you think about those digital workplaces, and, I often think about, there's lots of things that impact employee experience. But I'd say more so now than ever, the digital experience for an employee is of paramount importance, because most people spend most of their time using technology. And I have to say, it's kind of hard to think of any job these days that doesn't fundamentally depend on technology. So when you think about how it shapes employee experience, how do you see that with a lot of your customers, and you think about the customers you deal with, how are they viewing it in terms of how the digital workplace is shaping that employee experience?
It is the foundation of success of employees, actually, because you have the opportunity to really build in the technology, what you were referring to as well. And then from an employee perspective, being in the position to serve the respective work they are responsible for. And in many cases, it is about customers, obviously. To shape the work they have in the best way that it is served and it will serve the customers in the best way.
Yeah.
And the digital development is just helping bringing it into one place, bringing it into a best experience from an employee point of view. As I said, integrating the applications, integrating the processes. At some point, maybe adjusting the processes as well. Because employees give feedback as well as customers give feedback, that it is a continuous feedback loop. It is a continuous work, how you can shape it, how you can make it better, how you can improve the employee experience, especially with the digital opportunity, the technology we have in place. And this is even more infused by AI, by artificial intelligence, and what happened over the past year specifically, how you can improve your digital workplace and the experience from an employee point of view, and get even more help out of the technology in your day-to-day work.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about we talk a lot about productivity, and of course digital friction is a productivity killer, because you hear it so often. Employees complain about the technology doesn't work perhaps sufficiently enough, and therefore that translates into downtime, which means employees frustrated. But the real impact, of course, is what it means to the customer experience, because of course if the employee experience is poor, then that has a knock-on effect as to how people serve their customers. We're keen to get your perspective on that, because you've got lots of different types of customers, and be interested to hear any examples you've seen as to where the employee experience in the digital workplace has a direct impact on customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just pick one example. For example, when you have a sales person in a company, and you have a digital workplace from an employee perspective, from a salesperson, which is seamless, and where the CRM system is seamless, integrated into your day-to-day work and into your digital workspace, and where you get not just the information and you share information about a customer conversation, but you have at one side all information about the customer at one hand, as well as what is potentially the next opportunity, the next potential discussion you might have, because you have integrated digital signals as well, which comes from a customer, on a customer, on specific contacts which are with that customer. You might want to reach out, and you might want to have a very tailored discussion with that customer and that specific contact. This is something which obviously completely changes the customer experience as well, just because it's a tailored conversation. It's not just a kind of cold calling where you try out what might work, but it changes completely how you are engaging with the customer and in which direction, and how well prepared and well perceived that conversation is. And this is obviously true as well when it comes to customer service, and where we have the link as well. Because customer service and how you can build on what you know already and not just start from scratch what might not work and where you can be of help is a similar example on how it improves so much the customer satisfaction and the customer experience when you as an employee have a seamless and digital workplace and you are actually integrating the processes, the information which is coming on a specific topic, on a specific customer, on a specific opportunity which you want to talk about. And you are able as well to immediately, as well as seamless, bring in the feedback, bring in the next actions, and really drive the conversation and continue and follow through what you have been talking to the customer actually. That's just one example what we see in a great way what is helping our customers, and when they are going after and implementing and working on a digital experience and a digital workplace actually, looking after various dimensions of functions they have.
Yes, really interesting. I mean, you know, that to tap into a little bit more on that relationship between employee experience and customer experience, and connecting the two, which you were talking a lot about there. It's interesting to think about like the measurable impact that can have. I mean, you must see that quite often in your business as to how, you know, the digital workplace shapes that customer outcomes. We talk a lot about that here. It's about how does DEX technology, for example, shape customer outcomes. But keen to get your perspective there as to how you see that.
Definitely what we see, what helps a lot to really connect it even more, rather than I was talking about, is if you build kind of similar KPIs around it.
Yes.
From an employee experience point of view, as well as from a customer experience point of view, because obviously then you're even more in the same direction when it comes to what are you measuring and how would success look like from your employee point of view, but as well as then the relation towards the customer point of view. Building common KPIs, building the common way of how success would look like, and then measuring in that direction that it is very well connected and that it is kind of built on each other, that you have the effect and the positive way forward on how you can influence and how you can really drive the success and drive changes and drive the adoption around it.
Very good. When you think about the customer journey, there's pretty much all companies are on some level of a journey of trying to improve their employee experience and therefore improve the customer journey. But where do you see organizations should start? I mean, you think about tech, process, culture, and all these different aspects. I mean, it's not as necessarily a straightforward thing, but how do you view that?
Actually, my personal experience as well as view is you have to start with the culture.
Yeah.
You have to start with the adoption.
Yeah.
I think from many years and from many examples, what we maybe personally experienced, at least I did, or we have seen outside, you can have the best technology ever. You can have the best process ever in your company, in your environment. If individuals, if I wouldn't adopt it, if I would not like to use it, it would not be good, right? It would not be successful. So maybe it's not only the starting point, but it has to come with it and be developed at the same time, continuously. It is really about the culture and how you bring in the people and how you develop the skills and capabilities at one hand, as well as then the willingness and fun around to make use of it and what the benefit it is about. That's fundamental from my point of view, to build it, as well as maybe not just start with it, but bring it with you, at least in parallel, to get the most out of it and not just have a technology in place which is not used and would not work. Because for us, in our relationship, TeamViewer partnership with Microsoft, as well as for Microsoft individually, the usage of technology is the most important piece. Otherwise, it would not be beneficial for all of us. And then you have to take the teams, the individuals, the employees with you. And this starts with culture and the shift that this is beneficial. This is really of help. This makes a difference in your day-to-day life, as well as on how you interact with your customers and how satisfied your customers are.
Yeah, it's interesting. We worked a lot with Gartner, as I know you do, and Dan Wilson at Gartner, that is one of the people that's very much driving the DEX kind of proposition, DEX initiatives there. Yeah, one of the things Dan talks about is that it is a real movement, this whole movement around digital workplace, because it's a rethinking as to how to service employees and how to enable them to get the best out of technology. And it does require a culture shift, as you're talking about. So I definitely resonate with that a lot. Now, obviously, we need to talk about AI because everyone has to talk about that these days. But actually, jokes aside, of course, AI and automation is playing a huge role in everything right now. But it has a massive role it's playing here in the sort of digital workplace area. But give us the Microsoft perspective on that, because I mean you're right at the forefront of that.
You are spot on. AI is a topic everybody is talking about, and we should talk about as well, especially when it comes to the digital workplace. The employee experience as well as the customer experience, obviously. How we look at it, I talked about the seamless integration already. We see AI and what comes with it from our point of view, Copilot actually, as the UI for AI. Actually, really coming back to that point, it has to be a seamless integration. It has to be as easy as possible from an employee point of view, how to work with technology and how you work with the built-in applications, the built-in processes, and kind of managing your support you're having with Copilot as well as with agents, which comes with it actually. On your day-to-day work, on your day-to-day experience. And that is changing a lot what I was stating already, especially over the past rare years actually, coming with generative AI and what the technology is bringing with it and how it evolves and with what speed it evolves as well. And we see a huge opportunity in 2 dimensions. The first one is the user interface and having that one user interface, and with that, what brings with it from an efficiency gain perspective as an employee, what you can get as a help coming with artificial intelligence, coming with agents, coming with the help which comes with it. Having and driving that efficiency gain at one hand, as well as building even more an integrated view on your workplace and how you are engaging and what you have as an information at one hand, as well as what you can drive as development to make it better and to evolve actually your own experience, but as well the company, as well as the engagement you have, and maybe even business models you want to evolve as well as to build as a company. And that's what we see. What is changing a lot, what is a great opportunity from an employee point of view, but as well then from a company point of view, what technology, what AI specifically brings.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating times we live in. I mean, one of the things we talk a lot about here is, and I want to get your view on this, because one of the big values of the TeamViewer DEX technology, of course, is that we have this agentic approach to automate many of the things that would have historically been done fairly manually by IT. So it allows you to, take this agentic approach to scale and sort of agentic IT. And of course, we leverage and augment the whole Microsoft environment and ecosystem. But I mean, you spend time with lots of organizations and lots of CIOs, I'm sure. I mean, what do you hear from CIOs in terms of the way they're thinking about the impact AI can have on IT in terms of IT operations in particular?
Efficiency is one statement and one term we used already. That is one dimension actually we are looking at, and what we are hearing as well from a CIO perspective as well as when it comes to the IT environment, the IT infrastructure. Coming back to that statement, the UI for AI, I would like to differentiate, first of all, on the people side. When you talk about agents, when you talk about the co-pilot, from a people efficiency, from a people perspective, is what we experience already throughout the day, throughout the technology, what we see every day, which is, I think, already kind of established what's possible at that point. At the other side, you were talking about agentic, and we were talking about processes a lot. Looking into an IT infrastructure, looking into an IT environment, what we see obviously as a heritage, as a legacy in companies, which is very maybe sometimes fragmented at one point, as well as very heterogeneous, how infrastructures and how environments look like. The opportunity with artificial intelligence and what is super interesting to look after, how you integrate and how you build in, first of all, the heterogeneous environment you have, as well as then both agents and an agentic platform, to not talk about the human side and people side of using AI, but as well as the processes side, and developing the applications, the processes into one direction, and building that agentic AI perspective and frame and platform to bringing it together, and not necessarily develop individual streams and individual silos, but bringing it together into one platform and into one AI perspective and AI opportunity. And that's what we talk about a lot with customers. And I can say there is a lot ongoing. At the same time, there's a lot to develop, because we are still at the beginning of really developing it and making the opportunity real, actually, because many things can be developed, can be evolved, and it's not built yet, but that's the opportunity and the beauty we are talking about, because it's kind of almost no limit what you can think of on how it can be integrated and how you can build and shape your infrastructure and your environment from an IT perspective you have right now, and how you want to develop it and evolve it in the future.
Oh, fantastic. Great insights. And so if you were designing a digital workplace from scratch, what would you be your non-negotiables, would you say, to enable that?
It is, as I said, starting with the culture, and at least bringing the cultural aspect and how you can establish it in a company, in your company, having that thought through and thinking it in parallel is super important, that it really lands, and it's not just a theory and an idea, but it really lands actually at one hand. And obviously choose a technology which is open to build a digital workplace, actually, what is built in, what is seamless, what can integrate the applications, the processes, as well as AI, what we were talking about, in a way that you can build it as well as develop it over years, because it's open, because it's adopting, and it is advanced, actually. And that's how I would start, and what I would recommend when you really start from scratch, in terms of bringing the people with you, as well as having a technology chosen which is open and helps you building it in and integrating the processes in a way that you design it to really being developed and evolved over time.
No, that's great. And we have lots of examples together where we've partnered successfully in the market, and have brought the technologies and the capabilities of both companies together to really enhance that digital workplace, and drive a better digital employee experience for employees. Now, we're obviously now on the horizon of Ignite, which we're excited about, and well, maybe just to wrap up, would love to hear your what you're most excited about for Ignite, and maybe what some of the things to look out for.
Well, I'm not in the position, obviously, to share any
No,
pre-announcements.
absolutely not.
At the
No.
same time, what we were talking about, it is a great development what we will see when it comes to the workplace at one hand, as well as then the integration of application of processes and how this can be even developed more in a dimension we might not even think of, and how technology can be the foundation of a successful business, as well as AI is helping us driving innovation and making things possible we never thought about maybe years ago. As a company, as customers, building new business models, evolving their own business models at the same time driving innovation, because I think that's all about it, right?
Yeah.
As a company, driving innovation and staying ahead of the curve in terms of the offerings, in terms of how to shape success. And that's what I'm very much looking forward to, on how Microsoft and we as partner together with you as TeamViewer and your great offerings can shape the future and what will be announced over the next days.
Awesome. Well, very excited. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
today.
you.
And hopefully we'll get to do it again sometime. But really enjoyed the conversation, and thanks for the insights, and enjoy Ignite.
Thank you, Mark. Pleasure.
Thank you.